Who doesn't love comfort food? Joihelene loves to indulge in the mouth-watering Southern cuisine of her childhood. But turning to food for solace was creating a problem for her. She dreamed of being a singer and moved to New York to pursue her passion, but stopped performing when she felt that her weight got in the way. She needed to start singing again and find a healthier way to enjoy the comfort foods she loves. That's where I come in. I'm Kathleen.
And I love food. I became a chef so we could be together. Food was always on my mind, not to mention my hips. Sure, I dieted, but the pounds always came back.
Then one day, and 24 hours later, I was the chef in a posh Hawaii resort. One little surprise, they wanted me to be their spa chef. Did they say spa? Spa!
Ah! But I did have bills to pay, so I learned about nutrition. I talked to every expert who'd take my call. I taught myself to cook all over again, and I exercised a lot. 75 pounds later, I'd made changes that I could stick with for life. And you know what? If I can do it, so can you.
Joihelene, we're at your favorite restaurant, Londel's. Yes. So this is your favorite food, right? Mm-hmm. Southern comfort food?
Oh, yes.
Okay, what does this mean to you?
This means home. This means mommy and daddy. Mama's been in the kitchen frying chicken and making collard greens.
So this really takes you home. How often do you gravitate towards this kind of?
The truth is when the weekends come and you're away from work, you're like, I just want to feel a little bit like I'm home.
So is this typically what you would order here?
Yeah, in fact, I try to go for the catfish because it's, in my head, not as fattening, but it is a fattening fish.
I don't know. Well, is it a big steak?
No.
No, it's fish.
No.
Honey, fish is good.
Okay.
You know, you hear, you shouldn't eat strawberries. They have a lot of sugar in them. Is it a Snickers bar? They're strawberries.
Exactly.
You know, coming to a special occasion restaurant, I don't think that you should not have these kind of moments in life. These are things that I save up for. But could you do something like, say I want a half order? I mean, would that be a choice for you? No.
Would I want to do it? It's a different story.
It's baby steps, but if you're gonna have macaroni and cheese, I mean, it should be something that you work towards and save up for. When you go to a restaurant, try to order what's on the menu, but strategically, like if you see salsa, you know, and the salsa's on the chicken, you know, just ask to have that salsa on your fish. And don't come here starving.
Okay.
Don't come to this restaurant starving. So what are your food goals? What do you want to accomplish?
In all seriousness, I am not looking to be skinny. What I am looking to be is healthy, healthier, and it's definitely lose some weight, but I think that the weight I want to lose is just incidental to the health things I want to accomplish. So,
which are?
I just want to take whatever pressure, you know, off to, you know, keep me from getting diabetes.
What runs in your family?
Diabetes, high blood pressure, heart condition, but I don't need to die on my diet.
No, you don't.
With all the health issues in her family, I knew that I should talk with Dr. Peek about Joihelene.
Diabetes is epidemic in the United States. Joihelene, like so many Americans, needs to help prevent it. There's some simple things you can do. Right off the bat, get physically active. It helps regulate blood sugar all day long. Number 2, you really want to watch processed sugars, and those you can find in everything from table sugar, as well as those white processed starches, bread, pasta, rice, and potato.
With Dr. Peek's thoughts in mind, Joihelene's eating habits warranted a few changes.
Let's talk about your food day. What happens with breakfast?
I'm a horrible breakfast eater.
All right, what does that mean?
That means I will skip it most of the time.
Listen up. You snooze, you lose. If you choose to skip breakfast, you don't get to spend those calories on a dinner binge later.
Okay.
So then what happens for lunch?
Lunch is a really bad time for me because I work with all guys. They go to fast food joints, but I do eat a lot of different type of vegetable dishes like maybe beef and broccoli or chicken and broccoli.
Guys, lunch can't be an afterthought. You need one every single day. It's a super important meal, especially when you work outside the home. Brown bag it and/or commit to making smart eat-out choices. Brown bagging it can be as simple as preparing extra dinner the night before. I'm going to show Joihelene a spicy veggie wrap that can be an ideal meal for one and a great brown bag solution.
All you're doing is breaking down a recipe for 4, and it doesn't take any more effort.
The first thing we're going to do is dice 1 medium sweet potato and place it in a plastic bag with olive oil, curry powder, and salt.
Of course, I'm going to measure the olive oil. And I don't want to get my hands dirty, so I'm doing it all in a plastic bag. A little bit of salt. And I'm gonna add some curry powder. And I'm just gonna squish it around like this. Make sure the sweet potatoes are well coated, and I'm dumping them in a non-stick pan. Our sweet potatoes are done. We're gonna add our sweet potatoes to the pan first. Some tomatoes from a can. Garbanzo beans, rinsed and drained. Kit meal. And I'm gonna add a little salt. And I'm also gonna add a tiny bit of curry now because I want this to be really flavorful. I like a little spice, so I'm gonna add some chili flake. Calorie-free flavor ingredients. I'm gonna take this to the stove and heat it up for just a minute or so.
If you find this mixture dry, you can add about a tablespoon of liquid, chicken broth or water. Be careful adding too much liquid as you don't want a soggy sandwich. The liquid you add will help cook the spinach, which I'm adding to up the good calories.
Now we get to assemble our sandwich. I'm using whole wheat lavash. I'm gonna use a little bit of low-fat plain yogurt as my mayonnaise. I'm gonna add a little fresh spinach, some fresh carrots. I'm gonna add my sandwich filling. Look at how pretty this is. This is so beautiful. I'm gonna add a little bit of lime and then some cilantro.
So here we have a spicy veggie wrap that can be a delicious dinner or the brown bag of envy at work. So we gave Joihelene some new ideas. First off, eat breakfast. And we gave her a recipe to clean up her lunch habits. But I still wanted to give her a dinner solution that would satisfy her comfort food craving and minimize her time in the kitchen. We also have a surprise in store that will get Joihelene back on stage. Joihelene's comfort food doesn't have to be forbidden food. I'm going to show her a quick and easy stew base that can be morphed into 2 meals that will satisfy her comfort food cravings.
What do you think you could do to maybe make some changes with, in your relationship with food?
I think I can start looking at it instead of as a child, more as an adult, because I think there's still the kid in me who sits down and looks at something like this and goes, yay, and grabs the spoon like this and goes, and just dives right in.
There are plenty of totally delicious comfort foods that are perfectly acceptable to the nutrition police. I'll show Joihelene how to turn 1 stint at the stove into 2 super satisfying meals. Our stew is made up of simple ingredients with familiar flavors. In a 3-quart saucepan, cook 2 small chopped sweet onions and 2 small minced garlic cloves in 2 tablespoons of olive oil over medium-high heat until browned and softened. Season with hot pepper flakes to taste. Then add 2 cups canned whole tomatoes and 1 cup of chicken broth. Add salt to taste. Remember, it's important to taste and season while you're cooking. Then add the potatoes. Cover and reduce heat to medium and cook for 45 minutes.
Our stew is done, and I made a double batch, and I separated out half of it. I'm gonna put it in a refrigerator dish for another night. When I'm in the mood, I'm gonna add a ton of veggies to it and turn it into a veggie stew. And I might add a little bit of stew meat also. With this half of the stew, I'm gonna turn it into kind of a fisherman's supper. I'm gonna add a piece of cod to the top of it and just steam it right in the pot. All you do is just lay your piece of fish right on top. And it's gonna take 3 to 7 minutes, depending on the thickness of the piece of fish that you choose.
You can always substitute other fish in this stew. You might try sole, sea bass, monkfish, flounder, or whatever looks good in your local market. But this fisherman's supper was only half of what our stew could do. I headed over to Joihelene's apartment in the village of Harlem in New York City. Last night, Joy made the same recipe that I made, and she kept half in the refrigerator overnight, so that today we could morph those leftovers into a quick and easy vegetable beef stew.
So Joihelene, how did you find the recipe to work with?
It was awesome. It was like I could come home from work and not have to be in the kitchen for 20 years in a day.
And did you separate out half?
Sure did, and here's the leftovers.
Great. We're gonna morph your leftovers into a vegetable beef stew.
Okay.
And this is gonna be enough for 2 2 portions.
Okay.
So I would freeze half of it. You come home, you're starving, you pull it out, you stick it in the microwave.
It's done.
And you don't get into calorie trouble.
I'm browning the stew meat in good olive oil. Why use bland oil when you can add flavor with your oil? This would be the time to add your seasonings, so they'll express into the oil.
You could do anything. I mean, you could add like really amazing seasonings to this. I mean, what kind of flavors do you like?
I love like rosemary.
So it's really important that you get your comfort foods and your flavors and that everything is familiar and, to you.
Okay.
Otherwise, you won't stick with it.
That's true.
And this is the leftover. I'm just going to kind of dump it right in there.
Wow.
I'm going to stir this.
I added a little chicken broth so that my green beans will have some place to nestle. Or you can set your green beans on top to steam.
This is 2 portions, but that's because it's a half pound of meat. And since you're just getting started, I think 4 ounces is a good amount for you maybe, because you're going to take baby steps. You don't want to go to 2 ounces of beef and pass out like, I'm starving, Kathleen.
Exactly.
But again, these are good calories, they're nutritious calories, and this is the kind of food that you can eat a lot of that's going to give you the jump start that you need.
Okay.
Instead of, because this is comfort food, but it's healthy comfort food.
Yeah, that's what I felt like last night when I was eating the cod. I was like, I'm feeling healthy.
Good. You can throw tons of different kind of veggies in here.
You can add your favorite veggies with abandon. Squash, eggplant, mushrooms, peas, broccoli, greens. Remember, they're all good calories.
Okay. And I'm going to say this whole process is like 10 minutes.
Wow.
Literally, that's it.
Definitely do this after work.
Right? We're going to taste it.
Yummy.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
It's going to be delicious. This is Joihelene's home. We can eat out of this pot.
Exactly.
No one is looking. All right. It's good.
The corn and the potatoes, that's starches. Can't have anything like bread with this, can I?
Well, it wouldn't be the best choice, but again, this is all about baby steps. This is cause you to do something like order a pizza. If a piece of bread would keep you from doing that, then you're making healthier choices.
Okay. So you let me have some beef cubes, which is great.
To me, this is really comforting. just to sit here and, and a green salad with this maybe.
Ooh, oh yeah, that's good. I'm ready.
1 stew base, 2 fabulous meals for Joihelene that will satisfy her comfort food cravings and help her eat well despite her busy schedule. So we talked about what she eats, but what about why she eats?
Like most women, I think I'm an emotional eater. When the world is at my door and I want to cry, I reach for food. I don't necessarily reach for junk food. I do have a tendency to want to go into my refrigerator and just whatever meal has been left over in there, I'll just start eating. And I don't know when to stop sometimes.
And don't think I haven't been there. I'm in the club. But over time, I taught myself how to turn that instinct to eat in times of trouble into opportunities to serve my body better. I just kept introducing new fruits and vegetables into my life and experimenting with recipes until I came up with a zillion options for myself. And Joy could use a zillion options too.
A lot of salads, lots of vegetables. I grew up with eating those things. I think it's just portions for me. And over time, I've lost that ability to stop. Toward the end of the meal, I'm like, oh no, it can't be over. I just started eating. Can I have another one?
One of the ways that you can learn to eat less is by putting less and less food on your plate and slowing down so you can really get some of those signals that you're actually full.
We ate, made, and talked comfort food. Coming up next, we'll help Joihelene get back on stage. Joihelene is taking baby steps to get back on track with her health and her singing career. Joihelene moved from a town of 5,000 in Virginia to New York City, home of 8 million people. What on earth possessed her to do that?
Why did you come?
Well,
to
I came to sing.
So you had big dreams.
Yes, I did. I came and was totally overwhelmed and completely unprepared.
Tell me all about singing and how you started singing and...
Well, I started singing probably as young as about 2 or 3. Both my parents are singers. My father did backup singing for people like Nat King Cole. And to top it all off, he was a baseball player. He played in the Negro Leagues. My mom is a first soprano, and she's got this incredible solo voice. Both of them have always been my inspiration.
You were telling me about an audition that you went to.
Well, the worst experience for me was when I auditioned for a part, got the part, and I was told I couldn't do the part because I was away. When I got the part, I was like, yay, and I was all ready to go looking for the outfit. And then someone sat down with me and said, well, he decided not to use you. It has to do with your weight. You need to lose weight. And I was totally professional and wasn't crying. My typical reaction was to go to the refrigerator and find some food.
I would have done it. That's what I've done in the past. I mean, you
Really?
know. Oh, sure. I can't even imagine how devastating that must have been for you.
It made me feel like, well, I'm good enough, but I'm not good enough. You know, I felt like God had given me a wonderful body and I had ruined it.
It's not ruined. She's committed to making change. The good news is, it's never too late.
I have great news for Joihelene and anyone else out there who thinks that it's too late. It's not. Science has shown that no matter who you are, how old you are, or what kind of shape you're in today, if you start taking steps right now, you can reverse this entire phenomenon. You can prevent diabetes and heart disease and other chronic illnesses. So I say get active today, because within a very short period of time, you will see substantial changes in your blood sugar as well as all the other risk factors associated with these diseases.
That day was the beginning, you said. It was like the first time you can remember that really.
Like I realized maybe I shouldn't be doing this.
So you stopped.
I stopped a long time ago. I stopped like 4 or 5 years ago.
And how come you stopped?
I think a lot of factors play into it, but I think it has a lot to do with my weight. I wish I had this natural, overconfident, diva-dom-like attitude about stuff.
I love that term, diva-dom.
And how can Joihelene get there? Take a leap of faith. Visualize your best self. Make a realistic list of things you want to accomplish and get to work. There's never a reason to give up on yourself. To help Joihelene find her dream again, we arranged for her to go back where she belongs, on stage. And what better place to do it than Londell's Supper Club? To top it off, Christy, Joy's best friend, flew in from San Francisco to see her perform. And we put Joihelene's comeback performance into play.
I'm so thrilled for you. And in my mind, I look at this night as you going home.
I can't think of a better way to put it. Going home is exactly where I'm going to be, and I can't wait.
It's so important for us to learn how to be at home with ourselves. Fear of rejection isn't a good enough excuse to give up trying. Every no is a step closer to a yes, an opportunity to perfect your next attempt, which sooner or later is going to lead to the success you're after.
Are you ready for this?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely ready. Yeah.
2 things make Joihelene feel at home: comfort food and singing. We've shared some recipes with her, and next she'll share her beautiful voice with us. We helped Joihelene get started on the road to healthy eating and closer to recapturing her dream.
Looking forward to this journey. You've already got me like back in the road here.
Well, it's time. She's moving to diva-dom, this girl. I'm not kidding you.
Joihelene is in the kingdom of diva-dom. Staying connected to what she feels inside when she's singing is her way back. We all have a place inside our hearts as special as Joy's place. Every time you face an I think I can't moment in life, do not pass go. Bypass the refrigerator. Close your eyes and go straight back to your place. From baby steps to a giant leap, Joihelene's comeback.
I welcome you to our village of Harlem, and welcome to our restaurant. Please do enjoy this wonderful, wonderful woman, Joihelene.
I've been afraid of shadows, no matter if it's night or day. There has been no one I can trust. There has been no one I could turn to, so that I have to find my way. Someone hear me.
There's nothing like it. There is nothing in the world like it. It is like floating. It's like a light that you want to just be around and take the energy from. There's no way to put words to it. Miss Kathleen. She's been so encouraging through the days that we've been talking, and I have to go over and give her a hug for this.
When looking for happiness of mind, body, and spirit, nothing should stand in our way. Joihelene's courage has shown us just that.